I'm not sure it is clear who's in charge of that relationship, to be honest. I think what we're seeing, this is no longer about the extradition bill. This is a sort of a tussle. This is a political tussle that's going on. And we've seen a shifting balance of power in Hong Kong politics. This has been a feature over the last 2 decades, actually. Go back to 2003 and the protests against national security legislation. People pushed back, that legislation was dropped, and actually then the chief executive stepped down a couple of years later. And I think, something similar is going on here in that we've got this sort of very uneasy balance of power, maybe Beijing or the Hong Kong government, and there's a debate there as to, what the dynamics are, but they've pushed things in Hong Kong. People have pushed back. So I think, this is, as I say, this is an uneasy balance of power, and I don't think it's that we can say that any one party is in charge of what goes on in this city.
So you're saying an easy balance of power, but China, I'm sure, wants to see a very balanced status quo, a stability, I should say. One of the guests earlier on this week, watching this development in Hong Kong, said that he's sure that Beijing authorities were mortified to see the violence at the Legislative Council building. How do you expect Beijing to navigate in all this? So do you expect them to tighten their grips further from here on? Yeah,
well, I'm sure it's right that they were, mortified, to use his word, by the violence. And you've seen a fairly strong sort of rhetorical response from, mainly from the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, the part of the State Council, the government that deals with Hong Kong issues. I think going forward, though, it's difficult to predict, but my instinct is that Beijing will take a step back and will try and think and try and work out what the best long-term strategy is for dealing with this. So I would be surprised if we see any rapid or rash moves from Beijing. They'll also be looking to the Hong Kong government. The Hong Kong government is in the front line in this, looking to the Hong Kong government to try and introduce a bit more of stability and calm into the city if they can, to try and find ways to regain a little bit of confidence and credibility. And that, of course, is going to be very difficult after the events of the last few weeks.
Just going back to this controversy over the extradition bill, do you think the violence earlier this week sort of damages the legitimacy of the initial cause here? And do you think it will discourage this movement?
Yeah, I think the bill itself is pretty dead, in my view. I know there's a debate about what language and what words are used, but I can't see any scenario in which the government is going to bring this back over the coming years, given the response we've seen. So I think on that issue, right, the protests have succeeded, and it was clear pushback not just from a large number of people in Hong Kong, but also from the business community, the foreign chambers of commerce and so on, people who don't normally speak up on these sorts of issues in Hong Kong. So I think this was very bad miscalculation by the Hong Kong government, politically miscalculated, and I'd be very surprised if they try and put that issue back on the agenda.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.